A question gets asked about Titanic, being if Bruce Ismay, the owner of the Titanic, pressured Captain Edward John Smith into going faster, resulting in them beating Olympics time to New York. It is a question that has villainized Ismay in this story. It is filled with misconceptions and wrong perspectives onto the sinking. I'm going to answer two questions. Did Ismay order more speed, and why was Titanic going fast into the Labrador Current? To give a bit of context, on the 13th of April, 3 days into Titanic's voyage, the captain and the owner had a scheduled dinner where they spoke about the ship, Smith's future, and the topic of discussion of the course Titanic was on. Ismay was a passenger on Titanic. He was in one of the most expensive cabins on a ship, B-52, 54, 56, and on the sea the captain has the most authority on the vessel. He is above everyone. Even when Prince Edward sailed on the Olympic in the 20s, the captain was over him at sea. And I'm sure Ismay knew his authority on the ship, and how he has no say on how the ship is handled by the captain and his crew. With this, we'll get back to the question. So, Ismay had an arranged dinner on the 13th, and they got on the topic of how the ship was doing with the voyage. And a first-class passenger named Elizabeth Lyons, who testified, said they could overhear Smith and Ismay behind her on the captain's table at the top of the dining saloon, and later in the reception room. Elizabeth states that Ismay said, "We will beat Olympic and get to New York on Tuesday." From this, it seems that Ismay is congratulating Smith and observing that they are ahead of schedule. Lyons was also asked if she heard anything directly or indirectly that Ismay was asking for information about the ship, and she responded with, "No, I do not." Furthermore, Lyons said that Ismay's comment on the ship progression on the voyage was the boilers and the engine getting better each day. From reading through Lyons' testimony, I cannot see any evidence that states that Ismay pressured more speed from Smith to try and get Titanic into New York early. It seems quite the opposite, that Ismay was observing and calculated at the pace they were going that they will arrive early, with the quote, "We will beat Olympic." It doesn't sound like a challenge, more of a, "We are doing very well. At this rate, we will beat Olympic." But this asks the question, why was Titanic going full speed into an ice field? One thing is clear, that Titanic was going as fast as she was able to, heading into the Labrador Current. And this sparks people calling Smith reckless. But the issue is that at the time, speeding through an area of ice was more preferable than going slowly, and that is mainly due to maneuverability. Titanic's only way of turning was to move the rudder. A rudder works by deflecting water, resulting in the rear end being pushed to the side. With this, the more water being deflected by the rudder, the faster you will turn. So the faster you are going, the faster you will turn as more water is passing over the rudder. It is the complete opposite of a car. In fact, after the British inquiry, the British government requested an experiment with Olympic to see how fast it would take her to perform a two-point turn. A turn that Quartermaster Hitchens, the one at the helm that night, said it was done before the ship hit the berg. And after 3 runs off the Isle of Wight, they found the average time was 37 seconds. So this is a respective time from spotting the berg to hitting, which in turn shows how little time they had. I am going to do a video about the timing of the collision, so look forward to that. But to go back to Smith, many say that he was reckless with the ice warnings and ignored many of them, which is just not true. His own officers testified that he saw every single ice warning that came to the bridge. Smith was the one who ordered a more southerly path of 20 or so miles further south to try and avoid large quantities of ice that was reported from other ships. The problem with the collision is that it is the first berg they encountered within a 5-mile radius, and the berg was very wide and quite short above the waterline. But as a conclusion from the evidence, it is clear that Ismay did not pressure Smith for more speed, and Smith did nothing reckless at the time when it came to how the ship was operated.